All right, so the next step in performing this first project is going to be the making of a cube, okay, that has 4 sides, a top, and a bottom. I'm going to be giving you some specific instructions for how to assemble the cube and how to make it. The cube is going to be, if you were to measure it with a tape measure, the cube would be 6 inches by 6 inches by 6 inches tall. If you were to measure it with a scale at 1/4 of an inch to a foot, that cube is going to be 24 feet by 24 feet by 24 feet. Okay? The only kind of caveat that I'll take there is that when we put the bottom on the cube will actually be taller. But if we leave the bottom off the cube and we just set it down, the cube will be 24 by 24 by 24. Okay? So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is, if you want to start by doing a 6-inch dimension, you can. But I want you guys to hold the ruler like this and go, all right, this is 6 inches here, right? This distance. So I want you to double check that against the 1/4 inch side and notice that 6 inches matches up with 24 feet. You guys can actually, do that on a piece of paper. So you can take a piece of paper like this, and you can take your ruler and put a tick mark at 0, and then draw a line over to 6 inches, like that, okay? And then if you turn it around to the 1/4 inch side, and you line the 0 up like we did the other day with one of the tick marks, you'll see that the other end is at 24. Okay? So at 1/4 of an inch to a foot, a 6-inch cube is 24 feet. Does that make sense, sort of? It's like, maybe. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys decide if you want to, do 6 inches or 24 feet at 1/4 of an inch to a foot. I'm going to guess most of you guys are going to take the 6 inches. It's all right, no worries. Now, we are going to be cutting out all of the sides, okay, for the cube. And there's a couple of different ways to do that. One of the things that I've noticed is that students struggle the most with making really long cuts. They can usually do a short cut, like 6 inches or 8 inches or something, without too much trouble, but where they run into problems is if they have to do this really long cut. Okay? If you find yourself struggling with making that really long cut, then the alternate to that is to cut the pieces one at a time. Okay? I'm going to show you guys probably how to do it both ways. So first things first, I'm going to put a mark at this corner, and I want to make sure that the camera sees this. All right, I'm going to use my 1/4 inch to a foot. I'm going to line the 0 up right here. Okay, and I'm going to kind of stand up and look down at it, make sure that I'm lining it up right at the 0, and then I'm going to put a little mark at 24. Okay, so there's that. Now, this ruler, right, can't cut all the way across the whole board, right? So I got to put another mark somewhere about right in here. All right, try that again. This time I'll line the 24 up here, and I'm looking straight down. Notice that my head's up over the 0, and I'm going to put the little mark right there, like a little arrowhead. All right, then I'll do the same thing at this end. So I've got 3 little tick marks that I can then use to make the cut. All right? So here goes. And actually, before I do that, what I'm going to do in this particular case is I'm going to draw that line. So I'm going to line my ruler up, my cutting edge up, like that. I'm going to draw the line. So that's the piece that I intend to cut. In your particular case, at the very least, mark the full length, okay? And then you can decide if you want to, you know, cut one little piece or cut the whole thing and then cut pieces off of it, okay? I'll start by showing you how to cut the entire length. So I could cheat and go over there and get my really long straight edge that I have and make it easy, but since you guys don't have the long straight edge, I'm going to go ahead and do it your way with one of these. All right, so I'm going to stand up and I'm going to kind of reiterate some of the points that I made earlier about the cutting techniques. I'm going to hold the ruler down. I'm going to make sure that that's extended about like two little spacers. I'm going to make sure that it's about 30 degrees of an entry angle and that it's straight up and down, right? So it's not angled over. And I'm going to start cutting very lightly. I'm barely going through the first sheet of paper. Now I'm hitting the foam. And a little more foam. And now I can feel the paper on the bottom. And there's that. Notice that I'm pulling towards me like this, right? I'm not trying to cut out here. Right, so now I'm going to move my hand down and keep cutting. All right, so there's that. Let's sever it up to that point. Keep going. Get over to here. And there is my long piece that I chose to cut. Okay? So I think what I'm going to do is let you guys go ahead and attempt that. And those of you that are kind of struggling with getting a straight edge, then we'll do the small piece one at a time. Okay? Just so that you know, the one piece at a time, you're still going to draw the line all the way across, but you're going to measure over 24 and 24, and you're only going to cut that one piece. Okay? All right. So go ahead and go back to your desks, and your goal is to get one of these.